Anthromorph Team Chapter 1 The Arrival. Tokyo. That's where my plane reached the airport. It was a big town and I saw the whole land while the plane was landing. I got invited while my family made a vacation to somewhere else. I was an exchange student for 2 weeks in a fighting academy. I shall meet my sensei destroyer. I walked to the airport halls. A red purplish dragon looked at me. He had one yellow horn, orange glowing eyes, and 3 short tusks on his cheeks. His neck shield had a shape of like spiky elephant's ears. The thing what surprised me the most was that he had, instead of a pair of wings, just 2 pair of wings, 2 bigger than the lower 2 ones. His clothing looked rather peaceful, like some kind of kimono in short. The dragon bowed to me. "Konnichiwa, miss. You must be the student Boris told about," he asked. I bowed back to the dragon. That was Destroyer. "Yes, sensei," I replied. Destroyer gave me a calm smile. "We admit, we were surprised you could arrive. Must have been really expensive to afford a journey," he asked. "Yes, it was, but I got some help," I answered. Destroyer nodded. As we were walking around the halls, I picked up all my packages. A little warning before we arrive. Just like our culture and our camping is old school style. So you will only see old style houses. And we have also enemies. Lots of things might happen here during your time with us. Otherwise my other students will be pleased to see you. We never have someone from Germany, especially not a German wolf rat. Destroyer explained. I gulped at the statement that their camp had enemies. The wolf rats were almost extinct in my city. I am almost the only one, I answered. I see. As we got to the halls, I had to realize something. Destroyer did not seem to have a car or any other vehicles. We passed through the park place. Not to be rude, but don't you have a car? I asked. I felt stupid to ask it, and normally I was careful asking things. Yep, Japan was a country I always wanted to visit. That is why my curiosity got stronger. But I fastly regretted such things like asking or doing. Destroyer began to laugh. "With wings, double so strong than just 2 wings, you can arrive faster to your goals," Destroyer answered. He held me, which scared me for a moment. He held me so I could not fall down, and the last he began to fly. Except of being in planes, trams, or trains which drove on bridge, I was scared of high. With my thick hands and 3 claws in each hand, I held ruthlessly on Destroyer and looked away. Then I realized how beautiful that view was, and my heart began to pound softer. I already saw the camp. It was deep in the forest. I looked down at the view as Destroyer began to land. As or feet touched the floor. I was relieved to survive the high. For a moment I thought one wrong movement and I would be dead. However, some creatures kept an eye on me. Half robot, half bird-like creature. Instead of a simple hands, the creature had hooks, just like his feet. One but long sharp eyes, shaped like these sunglasses without any distance, and other eyes of their forehead. His beak were a metallic silver, just like his tusk. His metallic huge spikes began from head to the back. It were 3 huge fins replaced. As he opened his beak, I could see his sharp teeth. His tongue was just black as the parrot's were. His clothing was just black kung fu suit with red belt. This is Gigan. He's since his childhood in the camp. He is a very good student, Destroyer explained. As he came closer, looked at him, asked. I nodded. Your sensei told us you should improve yourself, Gigan said. I was embarrassed. Even though I had the yellow belt and karate, I lacked at movements. I looked at Gigan for a time. And this time my heart began to pound faster. You will share a cabin with him, Destroyer said, and so my heart began to literally jump inside of my chest. Gigan offered me to hold his hook. I took the offer and we both walked across the cabin. Wait! Destroyer shouted. We turned back to him. I need to let you know if anything happens with you or any of us. Let me know. Keep in your mind what I told you in the airport, Destroyer explained. I nodded. Gigan led me in his cabin. I looked around. After I checked everything, I began to unpack my stuff and put them inside an empty drawer. So tell me something about yourself, Gigan said. My name is W Girl and I'm from Germany, I said carefully. No. How old are you? What's your regular outfitting? What belt do you... He stopped as he saw I had the yellow belt on my white karate suit. Oh, never mind. You will skip at least 3 belts with hard training, Gigan said. Yeah, at least you know what my current belt is. My technique is karate, since I quit judo because of my old teacher were ruthless to me. I said, I see. I should introduce to my bro Megalon and his girlfriend. That would be cool. The bird creature dragged me with his hooks outside. We were about to walk to another cabin until we holded on to see what was happening. Another creature looked like a pterosaurus with 3 wave-shaped neck shields on his hind head, wearing only greenish pants, crashed against a tree nearby a cabin which seemed to be Destroyer's. We rushed fastly to the pterosaurus and helped him up. Rodan, how many times do I and the rest have to tell you to be careful? Gigan asked. The pterosaurus, which his name was Rodan, looked at us in a dizzy way. He rubbed some random words together. Then he shook himself to snap out of his dizziness. Then he looked at me. "Is this a newcomer?" he asked while pointing at me. "Sorta. She will be here for a few weeks to improve her movements," Geigen answered. Rodan looked at the heaven and thought about what Geigen just said. "No, that's cool," he said and made his way to the cabins. As I and Geigen turned back to the cabins we want to visit, two creatures came out. One seemed to be a male, while the other was a female. The male looked like a kind of Hercules beetle. His mouth were funny shaped as it was fingers, looking at each other, and opened slightly. His horns were silver. His skin was a dark grayish shade of brown, while his brown wings were like other beetles, but they were jeweled with golden stripes. His hands were just like Geigen's, replaced, but with a pair of drills. With his big golden bug eyes widened as he saw me as a newcomer. His dressing was just like Rodan, but it was in a darker shade of reddish brown. The female was a fluffier kind of moth. Her wings were big and jeweled with different colors, like black, orange, and yellow. Her big bottom body was orange and white, while the underside was brown. She had 6 arms. They start from fluff to eagle feet. Her head and feelers were fluffy around her blue eyes. She was white, while the middle of her face was brown. Her mouth was just like the beetle, but one difference: her mouth was more likely round than finger-shaped. Her clothing was just a green dress. The two walked to us. "Hello, you must be the expected student," the beetle said. I bowed to both of the bug species. "Yes, my name is W Girl," I answered. "Nice to meet you. My name is Megalon, and this is..." The beetle just wanted to continue speaking while the moth interrupted him. "I'm Mothra! My name is Mothra," the moth answered. She hugged me with her 6 arms. She was so soft. "What are you doing? We actually wanted to visit you," Geigen explained. "We are about to prank Mechagodzilla and PG," Megalon answered. "We are so on," Geigen said. We walked to another cabin. Megalon activated his drills and jumped under the earth. Sometime we heard a weird noise made by Megalon. Finally the door opened and a robotic dinosaur stood in front of us. Nothing to say about his appearance. His eyes were glowing yellow. He was ready to confront us, but Mothra created shiny dust out of her wings to throw at them. Around her pranker sneaked a female creature, which was a 3-headed female dragon. She had no arms at all. Her scales were pure gold, and her 3 eyes were huge and blue. All of the 3 heads has fluffy manes, which reaches until her back. They also had antlers. Her two hands were holding her red dress, which was held by a black belt. Seriously? You came with that after our jump scare in your cabins? She asked. Mechagodzilla appeared. Mothra said. The robotic creature looked at us. And Megalon is trying to reward it. Lame. He said and crawled in the hole he created to pull him out. You son of a! Megalon yelled and jumped on the robot. The boys began to wrestle, while the three-headed dragon talked to me. You're the student who spends time with us for a while? The first head asked me. Yes, my name is W Girl, I said. Nice to meet you, the third head said. We have to excuse us. My Mechagodzilla and Megalon just love to mess with each other, the middle head said. Our name is PG. The first head said. I am Penelope, and these two are named Gia and Dora. But we all prefer to be called PG. It's easy for us, the first head continued. While the conversation, Mechagodzilla and Megalon were finished with wrestle and lying only on the ground. Megalon, you know you have to repair our front floor, Jaya said. Yeah, Megalon replied. We all headed back to our cabins, while Megalon filled the hole back. So this was where I spent my time in the next weeks. Nice here. I can't wait for training.